everybody. Welcome to the RTO Show. I'm your host, Pete Shau, and today we're taking a whole different perspective of rent to own. Now, one of the reasons that I invited this guest on was because, well, to be honest with you, a lot of people that I talk to have been in this industry for a while. We've done it quite a long time. You know, it could be a few years, could be a decade, could be 20 years. Right now, we're running a little thing on the Legend series. We're talking around 40 years. Well, that's quite a long time. But one of the things that we want to do is really get to talk to somebody who's fresh and new, not only to the industry, but is on the younger side of things where they can really kind of shed the light from their generation to ours and kind of show this is what I see when I come in. This is a review that I can give you, and this is how maybe we can make it better. So right now I have a guest. I have Angelica Feliz Damas, who is from Kentucky, and we met at MRDA this past year. And one of the things that kind of stuck out was she's this gentle soul sitting in the side of the corner. And then when she was approached with some information, she kind of put everybody in shock. And it was kind of like, oh my God, we didn't really understand kind of what we were talking about in that situation, in the sense that there are some differences the way we see things. And I really love that idea. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Good. In MRDA, you gotta understand. So this is my first year going to MRDA. So when I went, I was kind of taking everything in, and I got to see. So Angelica was in one of the moderations that we did. It was moderating a conversation between some of the guys that we had that were on the panel who did a great job. So as we're going through the guests, we're basically having conversations between who's there and the guests and kind of figuring out which person can actually speak on that subject matter the most. And when it came up to, the hiring and the people that we look into, there was this idea that when it comes to sales, what we want to do is find somebody who's outgoing and kind of just very much vibrant and doesn't have an issue with going out there into the world and kind of grabbing somebody and saying, hey, what do you need? Oh, I think nowadays everybody's built a little different. I mean, you tell me, is it one of those things where you see it a little bit different? Because I think that the outgoing nature of what we had to do is a little bit different than what your generation does now, because a lot of it is maybe over social media, over the phone. And so being upfront is a little bit different, yet it doesn't really take away from the fact that you have the ability to get it done.
Yeah, a lot of it takes time. Me starting off, I had no knowledge of rent to own or sales to begin with. Started off working at a restaurant, and that was not so great, but I learned a lot of experiences there, and it kind of taught me to kind of talk around people a little bit more and be a little bit more outspoken, but it still wasn't enough to where I would connect with people. And so after leaving there, I went to Hibbett's, worked there for a few months, and just started liking just sales. I was selling shoes. I was demonstrating how many different ways you can do your laces with your shoes and how to clean your shoes, how to maintain them clean. And so I just kind of took that knowledge. I'm like, okay, this is fun, helping out people. I still had trouble connecting with customers, but I still somehow would sell. And so going up to where I am now, I work at Hometown Sales Lease in Arc City, and they've taught me a lot. When I first started, everybody was like, oh, it's the mute girl, or it's the silent girl, or it's the little mice that can't talk very loud. And so that kind of pushed me a little bit to open myself up more. I think the main thing is just caring about your customers and actually putting attention to what they need, or kind of getting to know what they value in their family. A lot of the times, some people just can't afford things or don't have the knowledge of how rent to own works. And once I started learning how everything works, I started teaching, especially in the Hispanic community. They do not know how rent to own works. They just know that they're making a payment and they're getting the product, or most of them will just purchase outright. And those are big clients that we just need to focus on too. That'll help grow the industry too. It just helps everybody around us. And I just like to help in general. And so I just love doing what I love to do, just because I get to connect with people. Every time a customer comes in, I try to remember their name, call them out by their name, greet them with their name. It just makes me feel like they feel like they're being seen. Whereas like the younger generation, it just keeps getting more and more understanding, I guess, in a way. Everybody understands their mental health conditions and stuff like that, and or how the environment is as well. And I just like helping in general. I just enjoy it, in honesty.
So what made you decide? Because out of the job that you had, they were kind of like customer relation jobs, right? You're going to be on the
Mhm.
front line. And then you go into a job where you are pretty much the face of the store, right? You're the one making the sales, you're the one making the calls, you're the one greeting the customers. And what made you decide this was the place where I'm going to try to open that up and be a little bit more outgoing than I have been?
It's the support around me. Jess has been a great teacher, like learning leader wise. I'm still learning from him. And I've had someone named Mary who helps me. There's times where I let things get to me, but she reminds me that I'm doing great and I need to keep pushing myself for better. So it's just basically the family community feeling. There is someone who's Jess's father, who I call my grandpa. He's been a tremendous person. I've learned so much from him and just learning not to worry too much about what people think about you. It takes time, but I just felt like it was a challenge and I like challenges. So I challenged myself. And as time went by, I just kept getting better and better and understanding more products. I also did research on products and explained how things work to customers. And so it's just, I guess, the willing to learn.
Everything out of your rent to own business? If you're not an APRO member, then the answer is probably no. Look, advocacy is APRO's bread and butter. This is why they were created and what they do best. But here's the thing, APRO membership is about way more than advocacy. APRO connects you to the movers and the shakers of the industry, people who've been there, done that, and they can help you do it even better. APRO's monthly webinars give you expert insights and actionable takeaways. It's like having a masterclass for your business every single month. Got questions about complex regulations or sticky situations? No problem. APRO's legal hotline gives you direct access to experts who have got the answers. That's a peace of mind that you can't put a price on. And let's not forget the resources, news, updates, and tools that keep you ahead of the curve. Scholarships for your team? Check. Disaster relief when you need it most? Double check. APRO is your ultimate support system in the rent-to-own world. So stop settling for less. With APRO, members get more. More support, more connections, more success. Head over to rtohq.org and join the APRO family today. Because in this business, more isn't just better. It's essential. See you at the top with APRO.
Speak for anybody. When you're coming into this, of course, I know that you don't have a lot of work experience. Obviously, you don't have the 20 years work experience. So, but you do have jobs being in front of people. And you decide, okay, I want to take this job. I'm going to be in front fully. Why do you feel that there might have been this transition period where, getting in front of people is a little bit more maybe challenging or you're not new? Is it because you hadn't done it before? Is it because of personality? Is it because of both? That maybe it was a little bit kind of like standoff at first so that you could open up to it? Or is it your personality? Like, I really don't like to talk to people. I'm just learning to do it to get better at it.
It's just like I say both, and also just my culture and my environment in the house. I didn't go out. I didn't socialize. Never had any socialization at all. It was just me, my brother, and my sister. And so that's the only person I could express myself with. And when I went to school, I was a quiet student, didn't speak, just did my assignments and went home. And so I just figure it's just what I learned around me or what people around me. I just saw people who are more expressive and more fun. Um, they just make me smile. So I'm like, I want to do that too. I want to make people smile. And so that's what just kind of put me out of my shell a little bit. But it was just mainly just no socialization, no knowledge of how to communicate or be an outspoken person or public speaking in general.
Coming from a situation where you're a lot younger and you do a lot of things on social media, a lot of things on your phone, I know that when, in kind of growing up, my mother was in a professional business. She was always on a computer. Hands come down a little bit. I spend a little bit more time on my laptop or no, I don't want to say tablet. I don't know if I've ever had a tablet phase, but I have a laptop because I kind of take it around, but I still use something with a larger screen. Nowadays, I think everybody, and including any generation, it's more the phone. In rent to own, I mean, you've seen out in RDA. I just now seen you in RTO world, which was really great to see you there. How do you feel rent to own is doing in this space where we have a mobile phone? This is where we look at everything. Are we doing good enough in that space to capture people that are in your generation to get them to be customers and to see rent to own in a positive light?
I think with that, there's a lot more room to grow. Every generation is going to be different. It's going to change in time. Nothing's going to be exactly the same. For me, AI is something new. Don't understand AI quite well, but I'm slowly getting myself to understand it. And there's so many just amazing things you can learn from AI. Just because AI knows a lot, it still teaches you so much more, and you're teaching it how to like learn things from yourself too, and how it learns basically how you are yourself and everything like that. With social media, I find that comedy and stuff like TikTok definitely helps. It's just there are like people like me who are camera shy. This is my first time being on camera, so I'm not a camera person, but it's in the works. It's something that I am going to challenge myself to work on. And I feel like once I can kind of build that up, it'll be more fun too. I just like having fun with customers, getting to know them and just listening to their stories. Their stories definitely help me grow too. Not only my customers, my coworkers, just everyone that's been around me has taught me something, and I appreciate everything that they've taught me because it's helped me grow to where I am now. And I'm hoping with where I'm at, I can lead as well, and even with the younger generation, kind of teach them how things work and just kind of let them express themselves their own way and figure out how they want to sell. Like every person's different, so nobody has that same quality. And so having a different mix of qualities in a person, I feel would help build more instead of like, yes, shy people don't talk a lot, but
Well, what
they
we're
can
talking
learn,
about so
they
that
can grow.
everybody understands is like the idea was at that time is if when we were talking about it, you don't want to hire somebody who's shy because, when you're standing in front of everybody or you're making videos or you're making posts or whatever you're doing, it's one of those things that it's better to have an outgoing personality. So we asked Angela, she's like, no, no, you can kind of train out of that. You can grow out of that shell. So I guess the bigger question now is you're saying that that is an ability to get out of. And I love that idea. But if you were on the interview table and you have somebody that's in your age bracket, your generation sitting in front of you, what would you look to find to say, you know what, this person might be in a shell now, but I do think that given the right information, given the right training, given the right mentorship, that they can actually come out and be like me, where you can kind of tackle something but you didn't look like you can tackle it to begin with. What is something that we could look for and say, you know what, I think I see that in that person as well?
I look for drive. Like, are they willing to learn? What is it that they want to learn? What do they want to learn from this experience? Are they wanting to grow with us, or are they just there just to find a job? I feel like this job is more of a profession to me. I enjoy it. And if they seem like caring, loving people, um, I see that as a great aspect to have just because it helps you understand your customers more and their values and everything. And you kind of just start memorizing customers' names and stuff like that because you care about them and you're putting time and effort into learning every customer's qualities and stuff like that, that you want to connect with them. And it's just so much fun, again, watching them grow. Sometimes it is sad. You see some customers age and they've been with us for years and they just age. And unfortunately, that's just life. But just watching them age, but then behind them are their kids and they're growing and learning and still don't understand how like credit works and stuff like that. I just like, hey, come over here. I can teach you. I'll teach you. Start off with something small and go from there. And so I just enjoy helping younger generations kind of learn from my experiences too.
Let me ask you a question. When you first came on, because you're saying that it's a profession now, but when you first walked through the door, I don't know if you said that, if you thought that. So, like, when you came on, was it the idea that you were looking for a profession and this is what caught your eye? Or when you came on, did you just see it as this is a position I'm going to fill, I'm going to learn from it, and then found it to be a profession later on?
Bit of both, I'd say. And when I first started, I was just eager because I had that little taste of sales at Hibbett's, and I'm like, that was so much fun. And where I was working at prior, it was fun. It just wasn't the same. It was just in closing, no people around me. It's just cleaning hotel rooms, and I was just like, this is not fun
It's not my
anymore.
personality.
Yeah, this is not me. And so when I applied at Hometown, I was so nervous. I was scared. I was shaking, but I just wanted to prove to them that I can grow out of it and I can improve myself. Going through this, I can improve what I want, which I still haven't quite decided what I want to do. I love where I'm at, but I also love to teach. So if I can find like a good middle ground, that'd be fun.
Well, I think we did talk about that. So I think at some point in time we did talk about the fact that you were in the in the industry kind of learning about it and kind of taking out of all the meetings and the stuff that you can and kind of taking all the mentorship and the tutoring and kind of putting it somewhere. But you also were in school to be a teacher. And I thought, wow, those are two completely different things. But then, I kind of agree with you in the fact that maybe there's a way to marry that. And the only thing that came up to me in that meantime was if you have the ability to teach and you like teaching, and then you find out that you have this, this knack for it, why not go into training? Now, obviously, nobody's going to come out. Nobody's going to like graduate from what you're doing, but they will be better at what they. So you have a salesperson or a collections person going up to a GM and kind of teaching them the normal things that they have to learn in the day, right? Whether it be
Okay.
setting up a schedule or setting up workloads or setting up, the next week or having a days off or whatever the case is. But when you came in, how did you find out about the job? Like, was the job spoken to you? Like, did somebody headhunt you and say, hey, I think you'd make this a great job? Or did you see it somewhere and you decided to apply?
Someone recommended me to apply there, and so I went ahead and put the application in. I didn't really think I was going to get the job, but they kept telling me, "Oh, just keep calling, check in, check in." So I'm like, okay, I need to be more persistent. So I kept trying and trying and trying. And they did tell me that they kind of were questionable about hiring me. They're like, oh, we don't know if we want to hire this girl. She's not really anything special. Well, I didn't really demonstrate too much on my interview, but they gave me a shot, and I just wanted to prove them that I can do this and that it's not like it's a decision that I want to basically prove to them that I can do it in a way. It's kind of hard to explain, but I had that drive of I'm going to prove them wrong. I can do this. I can grow from this and hopefully keep using it in life. But I just kind of ended up staying there. I tried to leave for 1 year and went to work at a clinic. But the healthcare was not for me.
Healthcare
And
is not, no. I've
yeah,
tried it myself, and healthcare is not.
yeah,
And I only went for the paperwork side, just like the approvals and stuff like that. No, admitting I don't. No, no, I don't want anything. Healthcare is just not my deal because
yeah.
I feel like there's too much pressure. So for a short time, I worked for admissions in the ER at a hospital, and if somebody came in and they didn't feel well, it was okay. If somebody came in and they're like, oh. I'm about to die. No, you need to go to triage. Like, don't see me. And then have somebody coming in and like, hey, I need their information stat because they got to go up to a room or they got to go to ICU. And you're like, oh my God, no, I'm good. I'm good. So I decided I'll never work in healthcare again. And whoever does, I got to give them hands down. It's a very difficult position. And I can only, no, and that was from the paperwork. So I can only imagine what it's like having to haul somebody in an ambulance or tell somebody hey, this is bad. This happened. You're not going to be that okay. It's like, oh my God, nah, no, hey, this is your bill. Have a great day. So coming from the standpoint of where you're at, now that you're in it, and you didn't have much knowledge about rent-to-own before you got into it, right?
hmm Yeah,
So
I didn't really know anything.
what do you think, two sides of this question, what do you think we're doing right at rent-to-own? And what do you think coming from your standpoint and where you are is something that we can really get better at?
I think the teachings that RTO World has definitely helps and benefits with training. It definitely teaches me a bigger aspect of what rent to own is. I'm still learning. I don't know every nook and cranny of everything, but I'm still learning, and everything that I'm learning, I'm just, let me try this. I'm going to try this, or I'm going to try that. That didn't work. Let's try this. So I just it motivates me to kind of try new things that I never thought of. Just because it's old doesn't mean you can't put it in there and make it new. So ideas are everywhere, and just trusting some ideas, kind of fixing it there, here and there, kind of adjusting it to where it needs to be. And then you just find that perfect balance. I just think that's what helps me in that. As far as the younger generation, I'm hoping us younger ones are taught well enough that we can help lead them further on and kind of teach them how it is, how things work, and just kind of be more creative with it. I find that if you're more creative with rent to own, it's more fun and people want to go in and be like, what's this about? So I think creativity is a big factor right now with rent to own. As long as you have that big creativity, you can use it on the floor, you can use it on your advertisement, or just pretty much anything as long as you have more creativity. And I love to create things, and art is fun. So I use art sometimes to kind of put things out there. So it's just creativity to me.
So you think that rent-to-own could can kind of benefit from a more creative streak
Hmm.
than traditional norms.
Yes, it's hard to move away from traditions, but when you put in creativity and just see life as art or rent to own as art, and you kind of just want to keep painting and having fun with it. And I, I'm hoping that's what younger people will see and just kind of maybe this is a profession for me, even if just because I'm shy doesn't mean I can't do it, or just because I have some anxiety or anything like that. Because I have anxiety myself and I struggle with it, but somehow it's easy for me to just be around customers and I feel just comfortable with them. And I hope that I always make them feel comfortable too.
So when you talk about younger, when we talk about older, how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30. Okay. So do you feel like there's any specific age that coming in is probably a sweet spot, or do you feel like, hey, as long as there's good training, come in anytime?
I think as long as there's good training, I started at 19. And since then, I had some tough managers that taught me some things, some good things, some bad things, but I learned from it and I'm still learning, trying to adjust what to use, what not to use. So it's hard for me to lead and I want to learn how to lead. And so hopefully I can just have my coworkers grow with me too. And hopefully they can grow and just keep going down the road.
You know, when I first started in this business, it's a long time ago, but I had no intentions of being in this business. I had no idea about this business. Going back to a guy, I don't think he's in the business. Actually, I don't even remember his last name anymore. His name was John. So his assistant, well, I even going to go further than that. So he was the store manager. John was the assistant. And so the store manager came in and he got me to come in and try out for an interview. I really wasn't interested. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what he was talking about. The only thing I knew is I had no idea where I was going. Like I just didn't have a clue as to what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I know somewhere in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'd be in an office somewhere or something like that. And so when I went there, I wasn't sold on any one thing. I kind of got sold on everything. And he was like, if you're looking to be here or here or here, let me tell you why this is something that you might want to do. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. He's like, you get to meet people. So that's part of it. You get to be out in the community, and at that time, the account managers had to do pickups and deliveries and services as well. So it was like, so not only do you get to, talk to them here, you get to be out in the community. And there's a paperwork aspect of it too, right? So you get to learn files, you get to learn the computers, and you get to learn to talk on the phone. And then after that, if you do well, you can be in leadership and kind of talk. So then I was like, okay, all right. I tell you what, I'll give it a shot. And then like a week later, he was gone. And then John moved up and I was like, okay, this is not the guy I talked to about everything. And so John had a different aspect of everything. And I agree with you that training is 100% why I'm still here. So he had a very direct approach on training where I don't know how the other guy would have been because we really wasn't there very long. But John would sit me in one office and he would call the store on the phone from the other office and we would do these role plays. And I've never been so embarrassed in my life, but nobody was there. You know what I mean? It's not like anybody was there to listen in to me and go, oh my God, that was the most terrible thing I've ever heard. No, it was like office to office before we opened or after we closed or something like that. So it wasn't like anybody was, I was absolutely terrible. I stunk. But in the persistence and the training, and flip it on its ear. When I came in, like you, I was younger, but like you, I didn't think I was the right fit, right? I wasn't outgoing. I was kind of like to myself, a podcast years later, but I was like, I don't know if I'm that guy. And so that training led me to get out of my shell and be a completely different person and going into the leadership values and leadership courses and just having my own reach at a point in time or 2 points in time in my life. It's been probably some of the greatest things I've ever done. And it's crazy that it came from people who saw something in us that I probably myself would have not guessed. You said you started at 19. I was literally 20 years old. He just walked in and it was like, hey, this is what's going on. And I was like, I don't know you like that. Like, I don't think this is going to work. But it's crazy that years and years later, through that training, through that mentorship, it's made a big difference. And like, is there anything particular that stood out in your training that you would say with who I am and where I come from this really helped me the most?
It wasn't much to training. It's just the people behind the company for me. They push me really hard to basically they're still pushing me to where they want me to understand my potential. I don't have that knowledge of how to publicly speak correctly and stuff like that. I still struggle with that and still kind of freak out a little bit or get anxious about it, even though sometimes I do speak out more. It's just a little bit different with like being on camera and stuff like that. It's very scary, but it's just the people behind me have pushed me through so much. They've seen what I've been through and they've been very supportive. And I just feel like just the attention that they've given me, the care that they've given me makes me want to help where I work, because it's a locally family-owned business, and although I'm not family, they definitely have treated me like family, and I just love being there, and I just love the people around there, and so I guess it's more the love of people. I love people, and I love to love people and show them that I care. It's just the sales part is just the fun of it too.
Let me ask you a question, because at one point you remind me a lot of myself back when I was younger. But when it comes to the training, is there any particular type of training that somebody like yourself, who's a little bit more introverted naturally, would take to better than just kind of throwing you out in the water and saying, "Okay, you don't know how to swim? Well, you're going to learn today." Is there something that takes you, it helps you better, or you say, you know what, I like this particular training versus this particular training? And that could always be personal. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a generational thing, but in your mindset, like, what is something that I like this type of training better?
For me, it's training about products. You learn so much about products. There's so many new things coming out that you just, whoa, things are changing. You got dryers that can sense after what your washer load did, and it just dries it. You got ranges that you can just turn on with your phone now. New products, and you get to just. I'm a tech geek kind of, so there's things that I like so with the TVs coming out and the smart TVs, now you can play Xbox on them, and you don't even need the console. That's something new that I learned. I'm just like, whoa! I want to share that with the people that I know that love gaming. They may they might want something like that in their house. I know I want something like that in my house. So I just the training on products is what keeps me up to date with everything too. I don't feel as old.
Well, does that make you feel more confident when you're talking to customers to say, I know pretty much everything about this? I know that it works. I know that it doesn't work. I know what it has and it doesn't have. And listen, this is something that it used to do, but now it's got like the 4K streaming and all this stuff. And that makes you feel more confident to talk to people.
Yes. Just having that knowledge and sharing that knowledge, and like I can find what's best suiting for that customer. And that's what I enjoy doing. And that training definitely helps, just learning what they need. And there's things that they don't really need. And you're just like, okay, we can take you this route or that route. So that's what I enjoy about it. It's just finding that right medium for them, finding the right products that they need, or just something that they wish they could have. I go out and try my best to get what they need, or if there's products we don't carry, I'll do research on it and let them know the pros and cons of it. Or I also share my experiences with my own products. Like for example, if I had a Whirlpool washer and dryer, and I always had issues with the propeller, and so I just told them, this is my experience with this, just a heads up, or this is what I experienced in customer service on that product itself. So for example, Whirlpool's customer service, I experienced that. And so I just share that experience with my customers. I'm like, this one has better customer service than this one. It just kind of varies, or this one has better warranty than that one, whichever you prefer, kind of thing.
Hey everyone, it's Pete Shau here from the RTO Show podcast, and I want to tell you about a company that's making a real difference in the rent-to-own space, Wow Brands. I've seen firsthand how they approach marketing. And let me tell you, it's not just about ads. Wow Brands builds complete digital ecosystems designed specifically for the rent-to-own industry. Their e-commerce and lead generation strategies are built to bring in qualified leads. And did I mention that they are actively working with the rent-to-own industry while also being members of APRO and TRIB? Listen, these folks are passionate problem solvers. They don't just slap something together. They design, build, and scale the kind of digital retail tools your business needs and your customers actually want. So if you're serious about growing, reach out to Wow Brands at wowbrands.com. I trust them, and I think you will too. You can post on Facebook every day, you can go live, drop great deals, And it matters, but here's the problem. Only a tiny slice of people ever see it. That's the trap of organic. The people you need to reach, well, they're still scrolling right past you. That's where Gerard Marketing comes in. They turn strangers into customers by using Facebook ads that put you in front of everyone, not just a handful who already follow you. The dealers we work with are seeing more leads, more deliveries, and more cash in the door. So if you want momentum, stop waiting on organic posts alone to do the job. Go to fastrtodeliveries.com and let's get your ads working for you. That's fastrtodeliveries.com.
So in the leadership aspect, now that you're here, are you looking to get into a leadership role now that rent to own's kind of helped you see the world in a different way and kind of help open you up, and you have these people that have helped mentor you to get here? Are you looking to take on any type of leadership role?
I would love to. I just need that proper training, and they're trying to get me the best training I can get. RTO World, again, definitely has helped me a lot. It definitely opened my mind a lot. There's so many things that I can work on myself and my coworkers can learn from. So I'm hoping to continue that education and just maybe one day be a better leader. Don't know where, but somewhere.
Well, just, it's funny you say that. I mean, when I teamed up with April, it was one of those situations. It was new to me as well. I hadn't been in it in years and years and years, but I know that once I got into podcasting, it was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to share with everybody. I wanted everybody to understand exactly where I was coming from and what I was doing. And so one day, Charles, he wants to meet up, and I'm like, oh my God! At the time, I didn't know Charles as well, so I'm like, I the CEO. God, I hope I didn't do anything wrong. We sat down and he was like, I love what you're doing. And April wants to be a part of the situation. How do we make that happen? And so they became a premier sponsor of the show. And out of that, there was so many doors that were available I didn't know were there, kind of. And they started opening in different environments and different things. And I love going to RTO World because I think every time I go, regardless of the situation, I learn something. From your aspect, you said you're a tech person, right? And the class itself. If you had to say, what were a few great takeaways from this last 2026? Was it going on the floor and seeing all these new things and talking to the vendors and saying, yeah, it's got this new feature here, it's got this new feature there? Or was the classes kind of sitting down and saying, okay, I didn't know that there was a perspective on this? What was some of your main takeaways from that?
With seeing the products, it's just amazing seeing like the new things, like the vanities that can look like storage nightstands or stuff like that. And the classes, there's so many things that I don't look at in like traditional sense, where they explain a little bit of what they used to do back then versus what it is now. And it just kind of opens your mind on like, well, we can bring this back, but let's change this into a more modern way, kind of adjust to the change. This change is really hard. Change is difficult for some people. It's difficult for me here and there. But another thing is just being around people who work in the same things that I do and just getting their ideas too. It's fun getting together and just talking about these ideas and making friends, friends that can help you become better leader. Or sometimes I'm afraid to talk to the bigger people, but I somehow end up talking to them because I want to learn more. I just want to experience more and just be more out there than I was before.
So and this is really what I want to know. You've been doing it, you said, since around 19, on, off, or indifferent. Around 10 years you've been in the industry. Do you feel like you understand the industry more now since you've been to MRDA, since you've been to RTO World, or is it generally the same? Like, did it open your mindset to like, this is rent to own on a whole different planet, or is it like, yeah, you know what, I went and I don't feel that different?
Definitely everything's different. Just it's more eye-opening. You're just like, whoa, I didn't know this, or this is cool. I didn't know about that. And so it's just fun and I enjoy learning again. There's always room to grow and rent to own, and there's so much knowledge you can get from it too. Not only like your products, but just the people around you teach you so much in general. And then I just love learning it.
So when you're thinking, if I had the ability, let's say I had a company, which I'd love to have a company. I'm kind of going in a different direction, but let's say, I had a company and I had, let's say, 2 or 3 stores, and we had not gone to RTO World yet. I have a couple of employees that may be either new or a couple of years. They haven't gone on to RTO World yet, or the Missouri Rental Dealer Association yet, or the Tennessee, whatever it is. And I have an opportunity to bring them. In your opinion, Do you think that it's a great thing to do in order to get them to see the overall arcing of the industry?
I think so. It definitely is a motivation too. Like the speakers that are out there definitely motivate me to put myself out there more or to try different things.
I just want to know, like, if it really made a difference to you from not going to going. Is that something that we should advocate for more? Because sometimes some people, and the way I look at it is, if I have a business, do I want to take somebody who hasn't been in the industry that long, or do I want to take people that have been in the industry a little longer? Or is it that I can change the mindset of the people who haven't been here that long by taking them and showing them, hey, you don't have to be here 10, 20 years. This is what you're really looking forward, looking to. And it's not just you in this industry. There's a family out there. There's a huge conglomerate of people in the rent-to-own industry who, although you might wear something that says, one type of rent to own, and that person might say something to different rent to own. Like, there are times where we get together to share ideas or knowledge, or whether it be leadership, sales, online, social media, growth, leadership. Does that make a big difference in going, oh, wait a minute, you know what? There is a lot more to this than what I really thought,
Yeah, it does. It does definitely make a difference. When I first went to one, I was so lost. I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. My first class, I was nervous. I sat in the back, kept to myself.
In that aspect, I've always been different. I used to do that when I was younger. And then I realized, like, you know what? I'm missing it back here. And I would force myself to go up front for a couple of reasons. Number one is because my eyesight's getting terrible. But number two is, if they picked on somebody, I needed to get out of my shell and be like, you know what? I can do this. You know what I mean? I could be Johnny on the spot, and I've had some moments where I'm like, but then I've had some moments where, it really helped me to be up front. But yeah, definitely. I started in the back. I did start in the back, you know. So
Now I just sit in the front and I like to just, my computer just types whatever everybody says. So the conversations that we had at our meetings, I was able to record that, not like video wise, but I was able to have my computer just type the whole conversation out. And I like doing that because it helps me go back, reread everything, and kind of, if I forget something, I'm like, oh, what did they say? Let's go back. And then I'm able to find it or find that quote that helps inspire me a little bit, reminds me that I can do more.
So what do you do? You have it transcribe everything that's going on, and do you put it like back into AI for it to create like some kind of bullet points, or do you just leave it as is and read the whole thing?
I read the whole thing, but I also use the AI to make bullet points and kind of make everything kind of short. But I also like to make PowerPoints with it just because I want to share it with my coworkers and like, this is what I learned. It may not be the same presentation as they did that motivated me, but this is what I learned. And just sharing that knowledge is fun. They enjoy it sometimes.
What do you think is more important, the learning aspect or the buying aspect when you go to these shows?
For me, it's the learning. Buying, not really my area, just
Okay.
more the learning.
Well, the reason I ask is, you say you're a tech person and you like the new stuff. I don't know if you go there and see something new, like, like you said, the vanity that kind of transforms you, like, hey, we got to have one of those. Or it's more, for the leadership quality, or the training quality of what we're doing, where we're going, or what we're seeing. And because the truth is, I'm trying to learn from this myself. Like, I'm trying to figure out it, because sometimes I feel like, and I don't know if this is a fault of mine, or if this is just a fault of age, or whatever the case is, but as you hit a certain speed bump in life, right, you realize and you look back on the road and it's like, it's been a long road. So sometimes it's hard to unlearn what you've learned. In other words, if you get somebody who's new to the industry, sometimes, and I'm not saying everybody, because some of us teach way better than others, we have a tendency to like, oh, well, you can do this, and the person's still like, I don't know what you're talking about yet. Like, I'm still on my ABCs and what you're
Yeah.
talking about depreciation and how to, make all this. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And, so fundamentally, we're like, oh God, hold on, I got to back up a little bit and kind of start with the fundamentals, which is also another part of leadership, is being able to take what you learned and, for a lack of a bit, I'm not going to say dumb it down, but put it in a situation where this person doesn't know what you're talking about. You have to put it in a situation where this is brand new. This is how you understand it. All right, now you're on level 2. Now you're on level 3. Now you're on, and so sometimes I look back and I'm like, how am I doing? I have no idea. And taking other aspects of people to these shows and saying, hey, here's a leadership course, here's a sales course, here's a motivational speaker and stuff like that. How great it is to have that available. So how many shows have you been to since you started?
4.
You've been to 4. Okay, well, I know MRDA and I know RTO World 2025. What are the other 2?
One was in Tampa, and then one was in Vegas. Vegas was my first one.
I do not remember the Vegas one because I did not go to that one, although I hear that Vegas is coming up very soon. Are you going to that one?
Yes, I'll be
Oh, yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. She's going to that one. Yeah, she's going to learn
Yeah.
a whole lot. Yeah. Well, I think one of the reasons, that I like kind of speaking to everybody on the show is you learn something different. You learn something new every day. You learn that, the way some people have learned is not necessarily how everybody's learned. And, some of it can be based on leadership. Some of it can be based on like trial by fire. I went in there, I did this, the customer reminded me, I should probably never do that again. But the aspect of kind of going through and learning and figuring it all out, whether it be through mentors, whether it be through classes, whether it be through leadership courses, whether it be through RTO World, MRDA, Meeting of the Minds, whatever the case is that there's a lot out there and people are rooting you on to kind of get through. If you had something to say to the people that are coming aboard right now that kind of feel the way you do about certain things and might not be so extroverted as they might end up being eventually in the system, what would you say to them as like a way to get them from point A to point B?
Just keep trying. Watch videos that can help you. There's many videos that can help you express yourself and be more open. You can practice at home. You can practice on the mirror. I just would search how to be more open or how to talk to people, and
Okay.
I'll just watch those and just kind of get little, okay, let's try this. Don't feel comfortable in the mirror, but at least it's just to myself and not someone else. And then it's just once you find that comfort and you correct yourself, that's when you're just like, oh, okay, I can do this. We can try this now.
So you have any ideas about social media that we can do better? I know that you said being funny was a good thing. How do we do that? How do we get it to be funny when we're trying to talk about sofas and living rooms and ranges? In your opinion, how do you make that funny? How do you make social media work for guys like me who just literally we're at a whole different level on that, and then like I wish I knew how to edit and do all the stuff on the phone like some people do. Like I couldn't do that. I have to literally pull up a very expensive program and go through that. I'm sure that's not the way it should be done, but to be able to kind of get in the phone, and I know it takes half the time and it's probably a heck of a lot easier. I don't know what I'm doing. How can we get better at that? What is it? Is it the comedy at all? Period? Is it like the information? How do I get better? How do you make me better?
Busy season is about to hit hard. Q4 sales are ramping up, tax refunds are coming in Q1, and if your books aren't tight, you're leaving money on the table. But here's the thing, these benefits don't just happen. You've got to make strategic moves now to cash in when you file in 2026. That's where Rivero, Gordimer & Company comes in. For nearly 20 years, they've been the go-to CPA firm for the rent-to-own industry. They're not just number crunchers, they get the unique challenges of RTO, startup consulting, industry-specific tax strategy, succession planning, valuations, they've done it all. You've probably seen Mike Helton and Alicia Holloway at trade shows, or even heard them breaking down these new tax changes on the RTO Show podcast. Don't let Q4 slip away. Head to rgcocpa.com or call 813-875-7774 to schedule your consult today. Make the moves now that pay off later. Rivero, Gordimer & Company, because your accountant should know RTO as well as you do.
You want to make it creative and fun. AI definitely does help a lot too. If you try that out, it definitely changes a lot of things and makes it much neater. Especially when someone doesn't know how to edit videos and stuff. It at least kind of gets it kind of in that right area. It's just also you want to be creative and fun. Just have fun with it. Uh, but also make sure it's just something that you can relate to with your customers. So a lot of the times when customers come in, I like to just joke around. When do you want that couch delivered? We can do it today. And they're like, no, I'm not looking for a couch. And sometimes they end up taking the couch. Or I got this special going on here. We can get that delivered to you right now. And they're like, really? And it's like, yes. And they will sometimes do it. It's just being fun and creative and connecting with people. And with videos, it's just, I'm still working on that. I'm still learning on that. But I have some coworkers that hopefully can help me get there on video editing and stuff like that. I don't know how to do that quite yet. I liked making videos back then where I would talk in Spanish and kind of show our showroom around, but I just felt like that wasn't really connecting with my customers. It's just, here's the product, come on by. Whereas if you're making like these funny videos, like some of them I've seen on TikTok that are just, there's one that always comes into mind, and it's always that kid with the vomiting for
Oh,
some
God.
reason, the milk, and then there's the coffee. I'm like, but it's funny, and it's just like, okay, they're being creative, and this is fun. I wonder if that's how they are in real life or personality wise. I want to go see them or just kind of get to know them, or I want to go look at the place. It just kind of brings people, like, the videos will bring that company into thought, and like, oh, I remember this because that company posted it. So
So, for reference, what do you think is the best social media platform? If you had to pick one, what do you think is the best social media platform that we could be posting on to get to the most eyeballs?
that one's a hard one. Because I use pretty much everything. I use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. It's just being around every social media can help. Radio doesn't really help any. We've tried that before. That did not work. Yeah, I don't really have like a one choice thing. It's just I use everything, and I don't share everything like personal stuff, but I haven't really posted either too much recently, which is something I'm lacking on and need to work on. And that's what these courses have helped me think about, is like, okay, I need to find a way to be more creative with these videos and stuff like that. Mine seem quote so boring, or I just don't like the way I look on camera, or I don't like this way I sound on camera. And so it's very scary putting yourself out there with videos. And so that's what I'm trying to learn now. That's something that I didn't learn when I was younger. So I'm working on that. But like making posters and stuff like that, I did very well. It's just working on that social media video thing is what's hard right now.
Well, I really appreciate you taking your time being on the show today. There's a lot of things that I wanted to ask from a different standpoint, and the new eyes that are coming into the industry, because Lord knows I can learn something new every day. Every time I go to an RTO World or an MRDA or any rental dealer association or any meeting, there's always so much to take away. Like, I swear to you, I come away with like 100% full, and then over time it just kind of seeps away. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that. I can't believe I forgot that. But sometimes it's always just, it's great to learn new things. And sometimes it's good to remember some of the things that you forgot to implement, that you didn't do, that you're like, God, I don't know why I didn't do that, and kind of re-add it to your toolbox of things that you do. I can tell you right now, though, before we go, I wanted to let you know that if you ever want to see some crazy, stupid videos that I've ever been into, if you go onto the website at the RTO Show podcast.com and you go to the videos page, go to the bottom because they're not at the top. But if you go to the bottom, you will see some crazy videos that we made that showcase what our trying to do and be funny was. And I thought they were absolutely hilarious. I'm actually looking to get back into a little bit more because I miss those days. But I really appreciate you being on, Angelica. It's been really nice talking to you and kind of getting an idea from a different side of the coin. Guys, if you guys have any questions for Angelica, please hit us up at the show at Pete at the RTOshowpodcast.com, or on the website at www.thertoshowpodcast.com. You can hit us up on any social media platform. That's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, where you're going to be seeing this. Don't forget to click and subscribe. You can also go onto the website and get some merchandise so you can look as spiffy as I do with some RTO gear. And I will definitely hit you guys back up on any DMs that you hit me up. I really like the interaction that we've been doing lately. And if you guys have any things, some guys that are my age, I'm like, ask Angelica this guy. I really don't know the answer to that one. We will do that. Make sure that she gets good response and get back to you. Angelica, I really appreciate your time being on the show. And I really appreciate you kind of giving me some of the insights that I didn't know. It's kind of made for an eye-opening thing on some of the new ways that I could kind of help some of the younger generations be a part of us for years to come. Because Lord knows, as we time out, we need to have that new fresh blood come in and kind of get
Yes.
the rent-to-own industry a little fresh face. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I do appreciate that. And I will tell you guys, as always, get your collections low to get your sales high. Have a great one.